Good afternoon, everyone. Let us start. We can start the session now. So welcome to today's exciting session, Campus to Company, a startup playbook for college students. We are thrilled to have all of you here for what promises to be a highly insightful and inspiring conversation. This session is all about turning ideas into action, how college students like you can take the first steps towards building your own startup. Whether you are curious about startup funding, business models, or just figuring out where to begin, today's talk will equip you with all practical tips and real world strategies. We are honored to have Mr. Raghavender with us, a chartered accountant, IPO and fundraising specialist, an angel investor, and a startup growth partner. He has helped startups raise over $50 million, led multiple IPOs, and played a key role in scaling the India's most exciting startup to $250 million valuation. As a co-founder at Cohort CA, he also mentors founders and actively contributes in India's entrepreneurial ecosystem. This session will have two parts. First, our speaker will give his talk, and it will be followed by a Q&A session. With that, let's dive into the world of startups. Over to you, Mr. Raghavendra.
Hey, hi everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank IIT Madras for taking this initiative. I think this is really required for today's age where a lot of new entrepreneurs are required because the market size is so big and the potential is so high. My voice is audible, right, Harish?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So, see, I would want this session to be as interactive as possible because you're all budding students. So, I'll keep my session very crisp and neat so that we can have a more Q&A session where I can add a lot of value. So, to add to what Harish said, I have worked closely with. I've been in the startup ecosystem for the last 10 years. I am a chartered accountant next KPMG. I was at KPMG for more than 6 years. Got the best employee in KPMG India award. Then realized the right time was to quit. I've been helping multiple startups scale and raise. I've helped Agnicool founders. I've recently raised 100 crores for Garuda Aerospace. You would have seen Garuda Aerospace is also an IIT Madras incubated startup. And broadly, see, in terms of how I want to keep my session is that I have a quick startup playbook. Okay, the startup playbook is a seven step framework. So I will deep dive on that first, and then I'll give you advantages of how do you start from an IIT Madras framework, or I want to start up startup, or I don't know how to start. What is investment, or how do I raise investment? Should I even raise investment? These are broad topics which I want to cover in my session, and happy to answer any other questions also as follows. Okay, first let me start about the seven step framework I personally use or I personally mentor startups for. The first one is problem first and not the product. Okay, the main problem where I see many founders doing is they focus more on the solution. They focus that this is a product which I feel will be a $1 billion idea. Everybody wants a unicorn valuation, but they don't understand the problem comes first, right? You as a startup founder or an aspiring entrepreneur have to be very very clear about the problem, because a startup's definition is solving a problem statement. So your problem statement plays a very very clear role, and you have to dial down very at a dissectual level where to which audience you are trying to really solve a problem. There is no point in saying, see, you would have heard all these fancy terms, right? TAM, SAM, and SOM. TAM is total addressable market, SAM is serviceable addressable market, and SOM is serviceable obtainable market. See, these all might look like fancy jargons, but the real value comes into identifying who is the customer who's going to pay me money. Okay, I might burn crores of money to building a very big startup. If I don't have paying customers, there's no point in doing all of this. So, identifying a very clear problem statement and focusing on pain points is what all matters. So that is where, see, passion is not that enough. You have to be very clear in terms of identifying a pain point. Okay, I've identified a pain point and I'm going to solve build a product for it. Next, what? The next most important step is your market validation. You have to be very clear in terms of who my addressable market is going to be and who I'm going to service exactly. That is where the real challenge comes, right? Because we as founders think that what I am building is only what the customer wants, but what I am building and what customer wants can be parallel difference. The real how do we solve this? By having constant validation from the customers. Your feedback mechanism has to be so smart that you should always be in touch with customers. That is why we always advise founders to have focus groups. to your first level of customers should be your best friends, or you should make them your best friends, in fact, because their feedback and their continuous feedback, right? You develop a update, they you get a feedback from them. You change things, you get a feedback from them. See, it has to help them in a real value. Okay, that's where market validation comes. So I'll take one step back to say, how do I know that I am solving differently from other startups, or how do I know my idea is very different? Okay, there's a framework called delta 4 framework. What does delta 4 mean is that the problem I am trying to solve, or the solution I am trying to solve for a problem, and the solution existing right now should at least have delta 4 difference, is what we say. For example, I'll give you a classic example of how Uber came. Before Uber came, we all had to rely on the yellow taxis or yellow cabs or black taxis. Okay, we have to go, show our hands, say I need a cab. They have to negotiate a lot. They might say, and you will want to go to a place. They might say, I will not go to a place. Then wait. So to for a problem of me commuting from one place to another, yellow cabs or black cabs, I might rate it as 2 points. When Uber came inside, I am very, very comfortable. The driver very well knows where I want to go from where I want to go. The price is visible, and the driver comes to me and picks wherever I go. So I might rate this solution as 7. So the difference between the 2 and 7 is more than 4. That's why Uber is one of the biggest startups today. So you have to be very clear this, whether your delta 4 principle is articulated clearly in the problem statement you are trying to solve. So this is one thing. Okay, next, I've built a product, I have found a solution, I've gone to the market, I've discussed with a lot of people, they are very happy. What should I do next? Then, see, and typically one more framework, the third important part is getting the right co-founders on table. Okay, see, one person being an entire founder might not always work, because we all have 24 hours of time, and we all have an expertise of skill set. Okay, we might not be able to be well versed in all parts of a startup. So finding a right co-founder is very, very important. And how do I find the right co-founder? He should have complementary skill sets. That's the keyword you have to follow. For what can be the complementary skill sets? He can be very good at tech, or he can be very good at business, or he can be very good at finance and accounts, or he can be very good at, see, you both have to be as complementary as possible. That's how you'll be able to grow, because this is one of the most important part. And the fourth framework what I use is called lean execution. Okay, how do you keep your team lean? Okay, you see startups burning crores of money. Okay, but there was an abundant capital available few years back. That's why startups were able to raise. But now the capital abundance is slightly low. So only if your problem statement is so strong and your plan to solve the problem statement is so good, that's when you will be able to raise this capital. So you always have to keep in mind that you have to be as lean as possible to solve the problem, because once you get into a mindset of burning a lot of money, it gets very hard to raise capital after a point. And the fifth main thing what I keep in my framework is raising smart capital. There'll always be a question: should I raise money? How much should I raise money? And when should I raise money? These three are fundamental questions all founders always have. Okay, that so I would, for the first question, when should I raise my money, is typically in a startup journey I would classify the stages as four to five stages. Okay, a pre-seed stage, a seed stage, pre-series A stage, series A and above. Okay, you all might know what is pre-seed, seed, and series A, but for the context of the entire audience, I'll give you a quick definition. Pre-seed is when I have a very good idea, or I found a very good problem statement. I am ready to solve it, but I need money to build my product. Then you are in a pre-seed state. Now, and when you are in a seed state, I have already built a MVP. We call it as an MVP. It's called minimum viable product. Okay, I've already built my MVP. I have customers who are ready for me. Then I am a seed stage startup. So I these customers have already started paying me, and I have already identified my market, and I know this is the market I'm going to go. I just need money to replicate this model further to grow expansively. Then you are a growth stage startup. Growth stage is Series A, Series B, Series C, and above. Okay. So ideally, I would say you should raise money only for growth, but not all of us would be fortunate enough to have the money, or our startup might require a lot of money initially itself. So then at least till MVP stage, we should be bootstrapped, because that is when we really identify a value. We really see this big the market is going to solve. If if at all we start raising money very early, we tend to liquidate a lot of money. Okay, the next question would be, who is an investor, or what kind of investor should I approach? There are different types of investors. Okay, there is an angel investor, there is a venture capital, that it's called VC, and there is a private equity fund, and there are family offices. Typically, these four are the types of investors who generally invest in startups. Like how we have pre-seed, pre-series A, series A. These guys are also bucketed in terms of growth stage. Typically, for pre-seed and seed, only angel investors will come. Angel investors are anybody but who have a lot of money with them and who are ready to take a risky bet on uh, entrepreneurs. They typically invest in a pre-seed stage, seed stage, and they even go up to series A stage. In terms of VCs, you see VCs in a very wide spectrum. There are micro VCs, there are early stage VCs, there are growth stage VCs, there are mature VCs. So micro VCs and early stage VCs will invest in seed stage startups. Growth stage VCs will invest in Series A and above startups, and you have private equity funds. Private equities are generally people who come at a later stage. They only come from Series B and above, where your startup is very mature, it's growing heavily in revenue. At that time, private equity comes into play. This is how investors are typically, we bucket them per se on how much they invest. And in terms of uh, what's your how much you should typically dilute, right? Typically we advise founders to dilute 10 to 15% per round, so that when they are above a series B company, they at least hold 60 to 65% of the company, because that's where real value comes, and that's where the real valuation also kicks in. Either you take your company public, or you get into raise more capital, expand geographies, all of that come. And the sixth most important framework, which generally many startups fail is, or miss out, is that their legal and financial setup. Okay, we as entrepreneurs, we don't care about all these finance, accounts, compliance. We tend to build strong, but all of this becomes a huge problem when we start raising capital. Okay, I always use a quote: only when you are due diligence ready, you are investor ready, because that's where the real money locks in. Because most of the times where we see founders giving very good presentations, the investors are very interested, they give a term sheet at certain valuation. When the due diligence happens, many of the things fails. The due diligence shows a lot of red flags. Because of that, these investors use an advantage and reduce the valuation significantly. This becomes a big problem for you. So you always have to keep your legal and financial setup right. How do you keep your founders agreement? How do you keep your ESOPs? How do you clean your cap tables? How are your books maintained? All of this is very important. And one special tip I always give founders who are fresh out of college is that you have to build in public. That's the best way today. Use LinkedIn, Twitter, GitHub, share your journey, share how you are building it in public, because this is what attracts talent today. Okay, it helps you attract talent, it helps you attract investors, it helps you attract your potential customers too. So this is something you have to start now itself. Build your LinkedIn profile, start posting good content, build your online presence. That's very very important for you. And I would maybe summarize the 7 step framework alone. Your problem first and not the product. Second would be market validation. Third would be picking the right co-founders. Fourth would be execute very very lean. Fifth would be raising smart capital. Sixth would be legal and financial setup should be upright. Seventh would be build in public. With this 7 step framework, anybody who you aspire to be an entrepreneur can easily do it. Okay. And you guys, I would say, are very very lucky, because you are all IIT Madras students. Your campus is a huge advantage for you. You have n number of research labs. You have professors to assist you end to end, and your alumni network is very strong. Most of your alumni would be either be building big startups or could be working in very large startups. So try to bump them, ask them for advice, ask them for immediate feedback. If they might even be that big to give you an angel funding also. Okay, always keeping them as mentors is very very important. That is very very to be a point. And generally we see a lot of startups fail, right? So for initial starters, what I would say is, typical mistakes what should you avoid. First one is building something no one wants. Okay, we strongly believe that a problem or solution I am trying to build is what really the people want, but it might not always be the case, right? That's why you see many big startups failing aggressively. Second is ignoring feedback, because you have to be very clear in terms of the feedback which is coming. Feedback from your investors, feedback from your customers, feedback from your employees. These three are the most important things. From investors, because investors typically see a lot of startups, they know what red flags are, they know what mistakes you're doing. But we might be in a very high stage saying that I know what I am doing and I know how to do it. It is always prudent to get feedback and listen to the feedback and take constructive decisions. Okay, criticism will always come. Taking it as constructive is up to us, and how do we take it from it. The second feedback from your customers, the golden grail for any startup, because they are the guys who are going to pay for you. It's very important on what's the feedback and how do you process and immediately implement in a product, or else some other competitor will come and take out your market share. Third is feedback from your employees. These employees are the guys who trusted you, left big jobs, and came to you. It's very, very important to keep them happy, because they are the ones who's going to execute your vision and make the startup into a big thing. So you have to keep them in a very, very good way. uh, I, I think I would like to summarize this way, because I think I would have given you an overview on what startups are, how do you build it, and how do you raise capital. And from here, I would want to keep the session as interactive as possible, so that it I can give you more guidance and offer support in terms of how do we take it forward.
Thank you, Raghavender, for your framework, 7-step framework on how to take your how to think about your startup. So we have just heard an inspiring session on how to build a startup as a student. And if you're thinking about what to do next to turn those ideas into action, we have got just the things for you. So we are introducing the FounderX Global Conference 2025. It is one of a kind event crafted especially for student entrepreneurs. And to tell you more about it, we have none other than the founder himself with us today. Dakshin, over to you.
Hey guys, just give me a minute. Let me turn on my video. So, am I visible?
Yes, you're visible and audible.
Okay. So, hope you guys are doing well. Um, can we hear some voices? How was the session, first of all, guys?
We can hear you.
Okay. So, I'm getting a few chats.
Yeah, we see people are chatting.
Okay, awesome. So, first of all, Raghavender, Anna, thank you so very much for doing the session. I know it was quite a bit of a last minute to invite you for this. And Harish, thanks a lot for pulling this off. And for all of you guys here, so we have about 45 participants. I know that you guys are on your holidays. Thanks a lot for being here, first of all. So, let me give a short introduction about me. So, I'm also a student like you guys. So I'm basically a 19-year-old, but I started building my startup at the age of 13. I built three startups before. Um, right now, I'm dealing with about 500 entrepreneurs, investors, and so on. We have a community. This community is called FounderX. It is spread across 6 cities. So this community, within this community, we have done about 25 startup events, and what we basically do is we are building an open startup ecosystem. So in a lot of cases, startup ecosystems are restricted down to you know like people who have experience, some say 10, 15 years of experience in an industry, and then they get to build a startup. Or it's for the people who have the money, people who come from families with founders already, or it is for people who are coming from great great institutions like Ivy Leagues. So I'm breaking all these barriers. That's what we do at FounderX. We basically connect anyone and everyone with the greatest of experts like Raghavender Anna here, amongst many other investors, many other mentors, government officials, and so on. So coming down to our event, so we are doing a startup conference on the 21st and 22nd of June. and this is going to be a a massive startup conference. We are expecting about 1,000 participants. We have 85 speakers, including CK Kumaravel sir, the founder of Naturals. We have Raghavender Anna himself, he's a speaker. We have Shivaraja Ramanathan sir from Startup TN. We have the French Consul General, we have the German Consul General, we also have the president of Elsina, who also happens to be the former MD of Salcomp. In fact, we have a few speakers from IIT Madras itself. We have Pratik Sharma and Pranav Singhal from Aviskar Hyperloop. So it's going to be an insane thing. So we have about 20 panels and keynotes, 22 to be exact. And each of this panel is going to be dedicated towards one particular industry. So anyone and everyone who's interested in startups should come here, because this might just be your starting point. And we also have an expo, we also have an investor dinner, we have uh, it's going to be a crazy event. So that's all about it. So I'll have Harish send you the details. I have shared the socials of FounderX, and the agenda of the event as well, in case you want to know. And in case you want to get connected with us, connected with me, or any other founder, you can always get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to guide you through and connect you with anyone. So I've dropped my LinkedIn as well. So I think that'll be it, Harish.
Yeah, thank you, Dakshin. So you're onto something such in a massive scale that is going to help the entire community involved. And yes, we are happy to partner with you in this journey, and we are happy to bring this opportunity to our students at the campus. So thanks for that. And with that, we are opening the stage to Q&A, and we can have our speaker to answer all your questions. So it's open to Q&A. Anyone can ask your questions. You guys can unmute yourselves.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
you're.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So it was a short and quick explanation about how to start I mean, for a startup. So I'm a PhD scholar at IIT Madras in Metallurgical and Materials Engineering department. So I have built a few.
Swati, you're not audible.
Swati, we just lost your voice in between.
Hello,
Scale.
sir.
Hello.
Yes, Swati, we just lost you in between. Can you just repeat your question?
Okay, I was saying I have a patent on my built product, and I strongly feel that that product can be used at least on lab scale in each IITs or any research, where people work on sensors. So I wanted to build that product on a scale that it can be distributed all through India, especially in research institute and research laboratory. So I'm not what I can say how to start my this idea to into a startup model. Like from where I should start or should my first step so that I can move in that direction.
Swati, what's the product you're trying to build? Can I understand that more?
Actually, so the products that I built and I got the patent grant on that only. So it is a setup of light source as well as a detector. So we used to build photo detector or photo sensor that can sense red, green, blue light or a range of different wavelengths of light. So there are that used in quality assurance also in automobiles because they use light system. So to check that, we need a, system. We have a source, light source, and then we can detect whether the system or sensor we are using, photonic sensor, are working or not.
Got it.
About all about that built product.
Got it. Nice. So, what's the amount of funding do you think you require for this, or do you think? Swati?
Hello, sir. Again,
Yeah,
I think signal lost.
correct. So, as in, what's the amount of funding do you require, or where do you think you're stuck, Swati?
Funding side till now I did not go up to that. I am confused like from how to, since I still am in lab only. So
Got it.
from where?
See, typically, Swati, what I would suggest is that, see, you are building for the automobile space, right? So try to give demos to a lot of automobiles. Okay. See, we fortunately we are in Chennai. We have the biggest automobile setup across India. We have Hyundai here. We have Ford here. We have a small plant of Tata Motors here. We have just between Chennai and Andhra. We have Kia's factory also here. So I think there is a lot of events which they constantly do to invite startups to for new technologies, and there are so many suppliers for Kia and Hyundai across Chennai. So the entire Steve Ramthur and Oragadam build has n number of suppliers. So I would say try to identify a pool of your first customers and try to start pitching them, cold emailing them, or try to get connects who are working in these companies and try to showcase your technology. Once they really like you, they will definitely give you a very good audience to start the process. I would feel this would be a right first step to do.
I hope that answers your question, Swati. We can move on to the next person.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, can you say something about deep tech startups, how they can manage to come up to the market and what are the failure measures like?
Definitely. See, deep tech is the way forward. Okay. See, one of the reasons why Israel today is grown to be one of the biggest empires is they focus purely on deep tech. Okay. 30 to 40 years back, Israel was a very small country. Okay. They invested heavily in deep tech startups, take defense or take cyber, for example, or take deep IT technologies. They went all in on deep tech. Take drones, for example. They are the biggest in drone technology. So they nobody can come near Israel's drone or in Israel's defense technologies. So see, today deep tech has huge moves in terms of how it's going to grow. Take the recent war which we had. Okay, not a war, maybe an attack between India and Pakistan. Uh, a few of the big drone companies in India, they demonstrated their capabilities there. If after the war, there has been a huge shift towards how India sees investments and how investors are seeing. So there is a huge place for deep tech definitely here. So in terms of deep tech, how do you build it? Is try to build a prototype, sell, get a big strong use case, and there are so many funding opportunities available. There are deep tech focused funds across India. We in Chennai itself, you have Blue Hill VC who's focused on deep tech. There is Aniket Capital who's focused on deep tech. There are multiple deep tech focused funds which you can definitely tap to.
Raghav, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm building a startup where we are building temperature controlled beds.
Okay.
Our temperature controlled beds can cool based on the need and can become heat also because based on the need.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
So what we've done is we've spoken to a lot of people, gotten a lot of good feedback, but
Okay.
we want we are still building the MVP, but we are seeing a lot of average responses where people are like, maybe we would be interested to buy this, maybe
Mm.
not. So we are not able to find that moat where people are saying, yes, we want to buy this product. So going forward, we don't know if this is a problem worth solving.
Mm.
How do we approach this with logic and structure to understand how this problem can be solved? One way we initially thought we should understand this is by learning the market trend, like you just explained for deep tech. So this market trend, if this is the right way to understand if there's a problem to be solved, how do we understand what is the market trend?
See, for you, you're trying to solve a problem where it is more of comfort problem. Okay. So, in terms of your problem, see, for you, the market is very big. Okay. But again, it depends on who's going to pay. A normal person with a bed might not pay for your concept because see, this would ideally be seen as a luxury product because for today, I'm me trying to find a good mattress itself is expensive, and I have to add a layer on top of my mattress will make it cool or make it hot. Okay, so this should ideally be classified as a luxury product, and your market size might become small because of it. But again, it's about how you position your product, right? Either you want to play do a D2C play or a B2B play. So see, two ways you can target, right? One is you try to uh, uh, do a D2C play where you are trying to sell this as a standalone product and address the entire audience through social media or having experience stores and then trying to sell. Or you do a B2B play where you partner with sleep company or wake fit or all these mattress companies and try to sell it as a combined product. So I feel you have to take a decision which pathway do you want to go, and based on the decision your entire business plan, your entire process might fully change. So I would say this is the first step. I think you would have taken these steps. What was the feedback on that?
Yeah, we did not try the B2B play because our MVP is still in development. We did speak to a lot of we what you said was right. We wanted it to be a luxury product segment itself, where we spoke to some people who are sleep deprived, some athletes who are not sleeping well enough because of the high level of training. They all said uh, the problem is not that bad because we have air conditioning. We also have fans and ACs and all those things. Because of that, the AC, cooling bed is not the problem. But there is a significant market available in the sleep technology space, the sleep
Yep.
health and the sleep technology space. So we're not able to like make the decision of what to do going forward. How do we understand if we're making a mistake or not?
See, there is a company, okay, I'm not getting the name, it's out of Europe only. What they do is they very similar to what you do. They have built a layer on top of mattress where one half of the bed can be controlled in one temperature, other half can be controlled in other temperature. Okay. So it's an advanced version of what the product you are trying to solve. See, not necessarily the entire bed might need cooling. One person might say I need a warm bed. One person might say that I need a cold bed. Okay. See, I feel the positioning it well, and you want to have a very big social media D2C brand. That's when you can sell is what I feel for this product which you're trying to do. Because again, if you go to a B2B play, for B2B companies to accept you and try to absorb you would be a very long challenge.
Got it, Rob.
So,
Got it. Thanks. I understood, got the gist of it. I think the company you're talking about is called Eight Sleep.
yes,
Okay.
correct.
Just one small question. Thank you for taking the time. The last
Yeah.
question would be the market trend. How do I identify market trend? How do I do research about the market trend?
See, by speaking to people, there is no other short way for it. See, had we had a lot of money, we can engage people like Big Fours or consultants to do the job. Typically, what startups do is they engage BCGs of the world or big consultants to do a market trend analysis. But we, as normal startup founders, our only way to do this would be to speaking with as many customers as possible, trying to do a lot of experiments, attend big conferences, see how these trends are going to go. There are a lot of D2C play conferences happens. Okay, a lot of customer gatherings which we have to do. See where the trend is going, and that's the only way we build a thesis for us.
Got it. Thanks, Raghav.
I'm going to add a point here. Shashank, do you happen to know this thing called as Kickstarter?
Yeah, I am aware of Quickstart.
So one good way is to simply try and launch whatever you're building at on Kickstarter. If you
Yeah.
do your marketing well, you might try and sell things there, and that would also give you enough money to build on your products and deliver it to the customers.
Yeah, got it, Dakshin. We know about that. We are working towards that also. Thanks.
Yep.
So we see a few questions in the chat box as well. So the first one is, I'm trying to build a startup for systematic trading using ML and DL. Are investors interested in seeding stage?
See, systematic trading, I'll tell you, right? Algo trading, systematic trading, do you mean by trading in stock market?
Satyajit, can you give us more context here?
Hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah. I was talking about share market,
Yeah,
and
share market. See, there, one context that is just saying that, see, there are a lot of algo trading startups which have come in and come out. Okay, they have not been very successful. Okay, so the lot of investors have burnt money by investing in algo trading startups or AI driven trading diagnostic startups. They have burnt money on that. So there's a lot of doubt and confusion around this area. See, but if you are definitely building something strong and if you're able to get a lot of revenue paying customers, then the story is very different. So I think when do you raise funding is the most important thing here.
yeah, actually, I was working in AMD, so my most of work is in AI MLDL. So
Okay,
yeah, so as per my, I see that a lot of competitors have come, but they are what I find their whole concept is sometimes quite hazy for even for me.
correct,
Uh,
correct, correct, exactly. See, for example, see, this all of this started when there was a crypto boom, right? When the crypto boom happened, a lot of algo crypto traders came into picture. They made a lot of money also. It's not that they did not make money, but again, how much is working, how much is not working was always a big question.
So what I'm trying to ask is that initially I had a seeding amount of money. I mean, so to set up different devices. So do you have any idea where I can go to
See,
any?
that's what I was trying to say, right? Many investors burnt their money in algo trading. So raising seed money might be hard, but if you if you're able to build it on your own, start customers who start revenue making customers, right? Then your process on funding might be better.
Thanks.
Yeah, the next question is, so every time I think of a startup idea, I find something similar already exists. So maybe there's more to it, but it basically is the comes down to how do I find a new innovative idea apart from the existing ones. Maybe if there is a framework, it could.
See, typically, right, the world has been existing for thousands of years, and the modern world, where we call it, has been existing for the last 50 years. Okay, so and we have close to 7 to 8 billion people in the world. So any idea you think would already be existing. Okay, it's just about pure execution. Okay, there is no new idea at all. Every idea has been thought, every idea has been executed, but at different timelines. So there are just only two things what I would say. Is the right idea is the first question. Is the right time is the second question. Okay, so you have to see whether you are too soon for the market or too late for the market. So idea is always there. The only question is whether you are too soon or too late. Okay. There are so many companies like Netflix. Okay. Today we see Netflix as one of the biggest tech companies in the world. But so many companies tried what Netflix tried 10 to 20 years back. They all failed because they were too soon for the idea. The market was not ready for them. And take Zomato for example. So many companies like Zomato was copied from DoorDash. DoorDash is very similar to that in US. Okay, so many companies like DoorDash tried to do what DoorDash wanted to do in US. It failed because it was too soon for the market. Market was not ready for that idea or for the problem statement. So you will always see ideas which are there in the market, but see how they're executing. If you think you can execute better, and if you see the market is very big, there is no wrong way about it. Try to execute and build a better product. So today execution is the main challenge. If you're able to execute better and execute bigger, you can definitely solve the problem.
Thank you, Raghavender, for that. So the next question is on my research is on therapeutic pharmaceutical. So it basically says that there are existing giants in that space. So how do I enter that space as a new startup? So what do we do in that
See,
situation?
pharma is always a problematic area, right? Because you have a lot of very, very large pharmaceutical companies. But so getting inside is always hard, and the regulatory restrictions and the requirements for restrictions is very, very high. So, but that doesn't stops us from building, right? I see a lot of small startups trying to solve on pharma space. So you have to be very, very, very specific in terms of what you're trying to solve, and today AIMS is doing a lot of help in terms of promoting startups who are trying to solve. So partnering with AIMS would be the first step, because they will help you in the regulatory process also. And in the health tech space, what's the kind of medicines which you are going to do should be very, very clear and articulated. That might be, maybe can you add more context, Tilak, on what you're trying to solve?
Hi, am I audible right
Yes,
now?
yes.
So my research is also like to manufacture, let's say, a better drug delivery agents for the existing conventional treatment methods.
What's
So
the agent you're trying to solve?
it's like mine is like nanoparticle mediated drug delivery agents.
Okay.
So these are like existing in market.
Hmm.
Even the pharmaceutical giants are like they're trying to build the better drug delivery system. So mine is like a specific. My drug delivery agents would be specific to, let's say, cancer treatment.
Got it. Got it. See, you
So
can.
I don't know like how to push forward.
Okay, understood. See, there are a lot of research institutes in US specifically for this. Okay, take John Hopkins University, or a lot of universities are trying to solve it. I would say trying to apply them and getting grants over there, or trying to somewhat associate with them. I think then your chances for success would be very high, because they will try to open a lot of doors for what you're trying to solve.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
This stage is open for others also to put in their questions. Either you can ask directly or put it in the chat. So by the time the next person asks, so when we floated about this session, we also received collected few questions from students who registered. So I would like to ask those in this forum so that everyone can benefit out of it. First thing is more of in perspective with the students, right? How do I manage academics with the startup which I'm trying to build?
See, that's always a chicken and egg story, right? What should come first? What should I do first? But if you, I strongly feel academics should not be a barrier for what you're trying to build, and what you're trying to build will only aid in your academic performance. Obviously, your grades might be important, but your passion to build and you building something eventually would help you a lot in your academics, is what I feel, because that's where the real value you create for yourself. Okay, and today we see a lot of startup founders who are very young trying to do very different things, and the biggest advantage you guys have is your youth. Okay, when you are in your prime age, your risk taking ability is very, very high. That's when you start solving for crazy problems or for bigger problems. So I feel that's very, very important to have. If you don't have it right, it becomes a huge challenge, because as we age and as we get more matured per se, our risk taking ability reduces a lot. So you are at the prime age to take a lot of risk and take more daring risk to solve bigger problems and solve crazier problems to say.
Got it. Got it. So the next question is about how to find the gaps in the market. So as a researcher, usually the process is doing a literature survey, find existing gaps in literature and trying to build in that gap. So that is in terms of research. But how do you do that in terms of building a startup?
Can you repeat the question? I was not able to understand.
Yeah, so as a researcher in doing his research work, so usually we do a literature survey, like read existing journals, articles, and understand what is being done previously and what is that gap in the research, and we will try to propose a new solution. That is in terms of research. But how do you find a market opportunity in terms of building a startup?
See, it's about very similar to normal research. You have to speak to hundreds of people as possible. Then only you will identify a problem. You see, getting real-time feedback and really trying to see where the problem is where we as entrepreneurs come in. So you have to get on board, or else it'll be very hard.
Okay, okay. The next question is about what is the ideal stage to legally incorporate a company? Because when we are trying to apply for grants of any sort, there are certain criteria. And is there a particular stage that is ideal to incorporate as a company?
See, once you see you are going to start revenue making, or once you decide that you are going to do this full time, immediately you have to incorporate a company. Because if you want to build a patent, or if you want to build IP, right? All of this is very, you having a company is very important to do all this process. So see, the incorporating company is very cheap. So don't think twice to do it. Get a company incorporated because it gives a lot of validity for what you're trying to do.
Okay, okay, yes, got it. Uh, So the next question is on maybe the next step on how to get funds as a student. Do we reach out to angels or grants? So which is the best option that as a student we have?
See, best option would be grants, because grants are, you don't liquidate your equity for grants. First option would be grants. The second option would be to get accelerators onboarded, because there are a lot of very good accelerator where you can get part of, where they give you a lot of guidance. And see, one thing about investors is that there are two types of investors, right? Financial investors and growth investors. Financial investors are investors who put money and they expect returns. Simple. I will give you 1 crore today. 3 years, I want 3 crores. Simple. These are the guys who I would say to stay away in your early stage, because they will be more focused on their monetary returns and not on your growth. You need investors who will be focused on your growth more, because that's where you get a lot of guidance. They try to give you a lot of connections, they give you ideas, they act as a mentor for you. So choosing the right investor is very important at your early stage. And how do you reach them? There are so many investors available in LinkedIn itself. There are so many investment communities available. So as you start connecting with a lot of startups and there are a lot of investors, if they are interested, they will open a lot of doors for you.
Amazing. Thank you for that input. And the last question from this section is that I'm really interested into starting my own company, but there is zero support from my family side. How do I navigate this?
See, this is a classic problem, right? We being in an Indian family, our families will always try to protect us. From their perspective, they're trying to protect. It's not, they're not trying to stop what you're doing, right? They're always in a protective mindset. Okay, they want their child to be in the most safe and protected environment, and they know business or entrepreneurship or startup is always risky, and you have to go through a lot of challenge to get the process. So I would say you have to take your entire plight to convince them, and you give them actionable steps, saying that you give me 6 months of time. I will go to this milestone. If I am not reaching this milestone, I will listen to you. That's how you have to convince them. You give them more confidence in terms of data. You give them milestone. In 6 months, I will try to do this. If I don't do this, I will listen to you. That's where you try to get into a more communicative nature and try to convince them and try to make them understand. If you just say, give me 3 years, I will not listen to whatever you say it's not going to help you both, right? At the end of the day, their family, they care a lot about us. That care only is coming as authority. It's coming out as authority for us, but it's care which is there inside them.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So we definitely have to give more confidence from our side so that they will be able to give us this chance to pursue.
Correct.
Okay. So this is it from the questionnaire which we have got. So we are again opening it up to the participants here. Please go ahead with your questions.
Yeah, myself, Naresh Kumar. Actually, I'm the technical background is marine engineer officer for 18 years experience in as a sailor. And now, right now, I'm doing MBA in the digital maritime and supply chain in IIT Madras. The thing is, what I have, my doubt is that actually I'm running my car service industry since as a MSME, cars, multi-brand car service for about since 6 years. We are running successfully with a good profit. But I would like to expand that business through the franchisee or by our own outlets through Pan India. How to go about it, about for the investment and for the next step.
See, what's the revenue you are doing? If you can share.
Yeah, actually, the turnover is about 3 to 4 crores per year.
But see, for you specifically, what I would suggest is that to take a franchisee route or try to expand your business more. Okay,
Okay.
you are not we will not be considered as a startup in the business. Raising funds through an IPO would be a definitely good option. We can
Okay.
raise an SME IPO or a main board IPO. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely available. So I think that would be a good way to start. So try to increase your business to 2 or 3, 30 to 40 crores of revenue. Then we can definitely do an SME IPO.
Okay, wonderful, sir. Wow. And but what I feel is that the future, the service, the future about the car service industry, because all the industries, the vehicle models are coming in the electric and the CNG and other models. So all IC engines and SI engines will be stopped in near future.
Correct.
So
So
I think, yeah, I think I am planning to I am having a doubt whether to continue in the same business or I have some other plans, as an entrepreneur to go into the shipping field as a commercial thing after doing my MBA. So, which is the best option according to you?
yeah, see, it's very hard for me to choose which is the best option.
Yeah.
See, since you're doing your business very well, it's
Mm-hmm.
just about pivoting to change. Okay, as entrepreneurs, we have to be very privative for change. We
Mm-hmm.
have to change and grow as the environment grows. So
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest try to see how you can cope up with the electricity field, or how do you become electricity for the you become adaptive to EV and CNG also. That's where you grow your revenue more.
Okay, so I have to adapt to the new technology so that
Exactly. You have to
to
adapt and you
survive
have
in
to,
the industry.
in fact, stay ahead of the curve. See
Okay.
how you can offer very differently and more productively than all the other players available.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good suggestion. Thank you very much.
Hi Raghav, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, hi. My name is Saril and I'm an MS scholar here at IIT Madras. I'm doing finance. The thing is, my question is related to conflicts when we are having same ideas. Now we are trying to develop something in fintech landscape, and we are trying to develop some novel idea, and our ideas are clashing between me and some other guy,
Okay.
and that guy is putting allegations on us because we both of us haven't documented, and that guy is putting some allegations that we have stole the idea at some expo.
Okay.
Like we had some meets in the IIT Madras like campus, and that guy is putting certain allegations. So how do we resolve these things? Because we have also made a website regarding it, regarding the same idea, and he has also made some idea.
See, very simple. Okay. Nobody owns an idea. Okay. If I start a food delivery platform tomorrow, Zomato or Swiggy has no right to come and say I should not do it. Okay. So,
Correct.
is your idea patentable?
I mean, as of now, we don't know, like, should we take an intellectual property right? Because it is fintech, it's not a tangible product.
See, it's
It's
always try to explore legal options to see how do you patent your IP or trademark your IP. That's always safe to have. But no, see, nobody has the right to stop what we are trying to do. Right? The market is so big that everybody can have a level playing field to solve problems. It's all about who's able to get the customers first and start making revenue first. So I would say to not heed into negativity and get into battles with them. Okay, try to protect your IP and try to start getting more customers and try to build a faster business. If he's also trying to solve it, let him try to solve it.
Yeah, yeah, that solves the like conflict in my mind as well.
Yeah, exactly. Don't try to see when once you start getting into this battle, right? You will always be in the battle. You will lose out on your business.
Yes, yes.
See, Max, what he can do, he can try to tarnish your name saying that he stole your idea. Let him do that. You show him in the way you try to execute the idea better.
Yeah, that helps.
You show success in terms of your business, he will automatically keep quiet.
Yeah. Thanks, Raghav.
So Harish, I think it's one. I think if no other questions, then we can point.
Yeah, this is one question in on behalf of I could like to ask. So,
Yeah.
we in general have the notion that if tell my idea to someone else, they will steal my idea or they will take it. Or so in that having that notion, we generally don't talk or reveal the idea to many people, right? But when we say we have to get more feedback, only then the idea gets refined. So it again requires you to talk to a lot of them. So how do you tackle this situation? Like, should we even consider that as a problem?
See Rahul, see you guys are college, right? That's why this thought is coming. But I will genuinely tell you, no idea is different than other ideas. Okay, so it all boils down to execution and not the idea. Finding the right idea is not at all very important. See, a person might have thousand smart ideas, right? If he's not going to execute, it's of zero value. So it all matters down to execution. So don't be very stringent in terms of who I tell it to about and who I not tell it about. It does not matter at all. And for a startup idea specifically, the entire idea only sits in your head and the entire vision only sits in your head. No matter how much you explain, they will not take it very personally. Okay. Even if they try to steal it, they will not have the entire vision and how you want to execute with them. They may only have a so it's very important on how you try to execute the idea. Don't try to see that what if they steal it and all. If they want to steal it, let them steal it. They cannot do as good as how you are trying to do.
Yes, this again I think would have helped a lot of them to open up more and try to get feedback more on their product. So yeah, with that, if there are no other questions from the stage, we can wrap this up, I think. Are there any questions? Okay, I take this as a no. And so with that, we wrap up today's session. A big thank you to our speaker for sharing such valuable insights and to all of you who joined us with such energy and curiosity. We hope today's talk sparked new ideas and gave you a fresh perspective on starting up while you are in your college. Remember, it's never too early to build something meaningful. Wish you all the best on your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you so much.
And thank you, everyone. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you, guys.